Lexus's fast car history is curious. Its first, the ISF, was actually a decent stab at irritating the BMW M3. Its most recent, however, the RCF, was mostly terrible. In between came the LFA supercar, which is still one of the most desirable machines I've ever driven. This is the new GSF, Lexus's answer to the big fast saloon question. It costs over £70,000, and this one is very blue.
But before you assess any very fast, large saloon car, you have to roll out the M5, because let's face it, the M5 is the daddy. The whole class is named after the M5. It's called the M5 class. So first of all, let's go for a stroll in the 30th anniversary M5 and find out just what the best fast German saloon car is all about. Well, it has such a colossal numbers advantage. You wonder why the GSF even bothers to turn up at the race. We've got nearly 600 horsepower here. I mean, that's, a hot hatchback more than the Lexus has. We've got adaptive damping, we've got alterable steering weight, we've got a totally configurable car, we've got a larger body with more space, we've got more grip from wider tyres, and we've just got more of anything. This is a numbers fest. It is the ultimate expression of the rear-wheel drive German very large saloon car, and it is, in the most part, very, very good. However, I'm now going to drive to the bottom of a really good Welsh road and then drive back up it and tell you what it's like to drive fast, because in some ways it's surprisingly good, but in others I'm finding it a bit of a pain in the arse today.
If a standard F10M M5 is already a very punchy set of numbers, this 30th anniversary special takes things a step further. That means 600 horsepower from a 4.4 litre twin-turbo V8 and 516 foot-pounds of torque. It's 50 kilograms shy of 2 tonnes, and with the optional driver's package will do 190 miles an hour, and that's still limited. You get some forged 20-inch rims, matte paint and ceramic discs, taking the price to over £90,000. Ouch!
Now for my configuration, I've gone longest throttle, comfort dampers and the lightest steering. I might just go the steering one more, so that's the middle steering. But there's a theme here. I slacken everything off in this car and make it as soft as possible. It has effectively the competition pack suspension on it, and it's still, on a Welsh A road, way too stiff for me. That's the problem. That's why it's being a bit of pain in my backside, because it's got so much power and torque, there you go, airborne at 60 miles an hour, that it just can't get it onto the road. So the point I'm making here is that, yes, it's great the M5's got 600 horsepower, it's an absurd number, and when it does get all of it onto the road, the feeling of acceleration is outrageous. But the number of times it can actually do it without something a little bit scary happening and or the traction control light flashing are so limited that the Lexus's power output seems to be more sensible. In fact, what I'm getting at here is that the Lexus's power and torque figures really do work much more sensibly with the available grip from its rear axle. The M5's just got too much power and torque for what it can put down on a day like today on a road like this. You could argue, well, live somewhere hotter and find a wider road that's better surfaced. Yes, but you can't always have that, can you? The other thing is, the stiff suspension slightly ruins the steering for me as well. The steering's a bit overlight and not really with me, and I get a lot of chatter and kickback through the rack because everything's so stiff. But the gearbox is magnificent. The engine itself is magnificent. Twin turbocharged, and it revs as high as the Lexus's normally aspirated motor. And once it is hooked up, it is so damn fast in a straight line, I think it's 911 turbo fast. What a magnificent thing. And of course, I love the way it looks on the outside, I love the cabin, driving position's excellent. It is the all-round package. But I had expected the chassis to be a little bit better, and for the wheels to not look like they were bought from Rip Speed. Otherwise, the M5 is a superlative motor vehicle. can't think of many cars that would suffer more on a limited test drive, like a 1 hour out the showroom and back test drive, than the Lexus GSF, because it just takes so long to reveal its quite considerable personality.
Under that Predator-esque mug lies a 5-litre 470 horsepower atmospheric V8 with just 391 foot-pounds of torque. It weighs less than the M5 at 1,865 kilograms, and this model's suspension is way simpler too. No fancy adjustable dampers, just a fixed Sachs shocker.
This car is totally unconventional. It's quite unlike the conventional sports saloon out of Germany. The controls are all different, the way it drives is different, what it offers is different. And when you first get in it, you think, yes, this is completely rubbish. But you have to persevere. If you give up at that point, you will just walk away and say to yourself, yep, it's not very fast, it's not as good looking, and it's not as impressive as any of the German cars in this class. But if you stay with it, I think there's a bit of a treat in store, because I've spent some time in this car and I'm really enjoying it. Let's start with the driving position. It is absolutely spot on and has one of the best seats of any car I've driven in the last 5 years. It's supportive and super comfortable, and I feel right in the centre of the vehicle. It's a strange thing to describe, but the driving position of a car is something that's so often overlooked, and Lexus has absolutely nailed it with this one. Then there's the engine. Okay, it doesn't have any of the big bombastic, hey, look at the size of my willy numbers that the German cars have, but it's normally aspirated. How many normally aspirated engines are there left in fast cars? Audi R8, Lamborghini Huracan, same car, this one, and not many others. That's something to be celebrated. And this one, it absolutely screams. It feels like it's revving to about 9, it isn't, it's going to about 7.5. But it's a complete event, and it reminds you why we all love normally aspirated engines. I just think it's a complete and utter tonic.
Everything about the Lexus is less headlinier, and those weird Lexus exhaust tips still make my teeth raunch. Brakes are steel and 380mm up front. The 19-inch rims and tyres are also smaller than the BMW's. The gearbox is a torque converter auto, not a DCT.
I'm going to configure my Lexus, but I've only got one thing here, so I can go to normal or economy, sport and sport plus. I don't like sport plus, I'm going to go to sport, and I can have a manual option on the gearbox. But unlike the BMW, this gearbox is an automatic with a manual function, whereas that one is a dual clutch. So, first off, no great torque, but oh yes, that is a spectacular engine. And I've got no adaptive dampers, and I've got no choice of damping at all. I've just got one setting, and over this road, it's better than the BMW. Whatever you say. I know you can take that competition pack off the BMW, but right now, I'd rather be in the Lexus in terms of its ride and handling compromise. Quite important in the car, that. Steering. I prefer the steering rack in this car. It's got none of the kickback and none of the fidget, and I feel more confident when I turn the car. That turn moment, I can judge better in this car. And the whole body just feels a bit smaller, so I can place it better. The visibility is better out of the car. I'm sounding a bit, I know, consumer journalist, but just bear with me. We're not going sideways today. I get told off for that the whole time. Now, this engine is a joy. It's got a proper step as well. At about 3.5, where's the step? Yeah, about 3.6, it comes on cam. The VTEC boys will love it. At about 3.6, the intake noise hardens, and then it just scoots all the way up to the limiter, and you pull the paddle and hit another gear. The gear change, even in the fastest mode, is not fast enough. Isn't a patch on the BMWs, and on downshifts is a bit slow, and sometimes the rev match is not great. So the gearbox is weak, it has to be said. But if you enjoy driving fast saloon cars and you owned an E39 M5, I think you might prefer this over the new M5. And as for the way the power and torque work with the grip available, on a wet British road, it's just a more enjoyable thing to drive because you don't have to constantly worry about the traction. I drive it with the traction control off. It's wonderful. It's got loads of grip from those sticky Michelins. It doesn't like this cold weather quite so much. The brake pedal is really good. I've not had any fade yet from the brakes. Everything about it and the way it goes down a road is so much better than the RCF thing they launched a couple of years ago. This is an infinitely better vehicle than that, and it's got a really special personality that I said grows on you, and I'm enjoying that more and more. However, we then get to the thorny issue of the cabin. I want to talk you through this cabin because I think it might be the craziest car cabin on sale at the moment. Genuinely, I have to stop and do it stationary, because if I try and do it moving along, there's a chance I'll crash. I need to start the engine for this so that you can see the full madness of this cabin. It really is like the inside of someone's head. First of all, the steering wheel, which has a load of buttons. I don't know what they do. This one here is the volume for the radio. There's a mode button in the middle, and then there's a whole load of stuff going on the dashboard. There's an up and down here for a menu, but there's also a square one here that's got up, down, side to side for a menu, and another one in the middle that's, I don't know what that's for. There's a back button, another menu button here. That's your radar cruise, and that's your lane departure warning. That's your Voicetronic to give voice commands, and there's a phone on and off there. I can't fathom them because there's two sets of menus going on here. This is all electronic inside here. I'll have a look at a close-up now. It's beautiful. It's quite LFA-esque in the way they've put it together, which is really cool. I love some of the detail and design. I love the way the sort of a tungsten look to the surrounds of the dials, and the small speedometer is quite aero. It's really cool. Indicators are on the right side, given this is a Japanese car. And the windscreen wipers work completely counterintuitively the wrong way around. The paddles feel like they're from a cheap gaming steering wheel. So this is actually, in GSF terms, quite conventional, if a little baffling. However, let's get down here to the full madness. On this hump here, there's a sort of rectangular, an oblong thing that moves you around your menu system here, and I have no idea quite how it works. There's an up-down button there that I still don't understand what that does. There's a main menu which will get you through to your, everything from climate to your media input or your CD player, which is, by the way, this hole in the dashboard here. You can access your heater controls from there, but they're all repeated here. They do this lovely roll up and down thing as well when you go up and down. It's very pretty. Ergonomically, it's a total disaster, because you're controlling stuff here, and then you've got stuff to do on the steering wheel here, and everything overlaps. It's totally counterintuitive, and best of all, the navigation won't recognise postcodes. It is a total disaster. However, it looks fantastic, and it feels brilliant, and I just think it's wonderfully, wonderfully crazy. The gear lever, for example, the detents to make it move are the wrong way compared to any other gear lever, so you find yourself constantly fighting against the resistance point. 3-point turns take about 10 minutes because you're wrestling with this lever. It's got quite a nice storage space. You can, hide stuff. At every point, someone's gone, I know what, let's just stick it there because it might look cool. I quite like the single-mindedness of just doing it the way they want to do it. And then there's the cabin materials. Count the number of different materials in this place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I can count 10 different materials here. In the BMW, I think there are 3. It's an absolute mess, but rather a wonderful mess. It's even got exposed fake Allen bolt heads here that go into the Alcantara that hold that on the dashboard. It's insane, but you just know it'll last because these things always do. Yes, it's a mad cabin for a completely mad car.
The weather definitely helped show the GSF's strength a little more clearly, but the fact is, in normal road driving, you just cannot deploy the M5's crazy numbers. It's just too much, and the suspension is too firm. The M5 is also objectively the better car here, not least because its fuel tank is big enough to cater for normal journeys, unlike the GSF's. But the fact is, the Lexus is actually more enjoyable to drive most of the time, and I'd never expected to say that.